love holidays. If you ask me, there's nothing better than getting away from it all and chilling out.
I'm off to Mexico for some sun, sea and sand.
We're off to Barcelona.
To play hockey, to drink beer.
And support women.
We're sisters. We're going off on a girly holiday to Cancun.
Yeah, to burn.
But while all of us here can't wait to get on that plane and start relaxing, holidays aren't always a restful experience for your body.
You shoot off the toilet seat, fly around the ceiling like a bumblebee. Not very romantic.
Not very romantic.
We're going to uncover the science of what happens to your body through the highs and lows of a summer holiday. Neil, Will, Stefan and Marcus plan to test their physical limits with hockey and hangovers. Kerry and Joe are in search of the ultimate shade of bronze. While in Turkey, Victor and Bing suffer the miseries of a dodgy Donna. So what's in store for me?
Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Straight down the left-hand aisle.
Thank you.
As the plane doors are closed, my body's facing its first challenge. Not the takeoff, but the air in here.
The first thing I've noticed is a bit of dehydration. My skin's dry, and so are my eyes and mouth.
If they just recycled the cabin air all the way to Mexico, we'd run out of oxygen. So they have to mix it with the fresh air from outside. But that's so cold and dry that the air in the cabin ends up drier than the Sahara Desert.
The most serious thing about being dehydrated, though, is that it makes your blood thicker, and that makes it flow around your body much more slowly than usual.
And that could have serious implications. We've all heard scare stories about blood clots or deep vein thrombosis, but what is it and how can flying trigger it? When I'm moving around, the blood moves through my veins pretty swiftly, and the fast flow keeps the concentration of blood cells under control. Clots form once in a while, but they're easily knocked apart. But dehydration makes the blood thicker, so it's easier for blood cells to get into a traffic jam and make a clot. And all that sitting around slows my blood flow down, so clots aren't as easily knocked apart.
If one of those tiny clots gets trapped in a narrow vein in your leg, it hurts. But if it works its way up into your lungs, it can block your whole circulation. And that's when DVT can be fatal.
Only 1 in 100 people with DVT dies, but it's worth getting any pain in your legs or chest checked out by a doctor, even up to 2 weeks after you fly. Flight socks are made of tight elastic, which squeezes the blood vessels in your legs. That pressure's supposed to push the blood up towards your heart and so keep up the flow.
Yeah, they're me. Oi, less of a weird guy.
But these knee-high numbers don't really get me in the holiday mood. Unless you know you've got blood clotting problems, I reckon 15 quid a pair is a bit pricey.
At just 2 pence a tablet, these are a much more economical way than these of keeping your blood flow up to scratch when you're flying off on holiday.
Aspirin thins your blood, and that makes the formation of clots less likely. But check with your doctor first that it's okay for you to take it when you fly. Either way, moving around during the flight is the best way to keep your circulation going. I've landed in Mexico. Meanwhile, sisters Kerry and Joe are all set for their second day of sun worshipping in Cancun.
It's gorgeous. It's just so relaxing and lovely, and it's great.
Absolutely loving it. Just lying here, really, really enjoying ourselves.
Yeah.
Went a bit mad yesterday.
We got down here for about 8, and we put on factor 15 and just thought we could handle it, and then basically we got fried like a crisp. We paid the price and we had a bit of sunstroke.
I having a tan is when I'm at my happiest. I absolutely adore it. My clothes just look so much better. You look thinner, you know. It's like I always say, brown fat is better than white fat. I absolutely adore it.
But just how much heat are they really soaking up? If we break an egg into a frying pan, will the girls last the distance till it's sunny side up?
Mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun.
In fact, after just 1 hour in this blazing sun, each of them will have absorbed enough heat to cook 6 dozen eggs.
I just fancy a bit of that egg.
But we'll find out later what frying yourself really does to your body.
Out in the midday, out in the midday sun.
The lads and their team have arrived for their summer fun in Barcelona. They're already getting down to rather more active pursuits than the girls. When the temperature rises, your body's alerted to a possible heat emergency. It releases sweat from your skin, and as that evaporates, it takes heat from your body and cools you down. But that means you also lose vital water.
That's a 100% record.
100% record.
For the moment, anyway.
Yeah. Better leave it there.
Now, have the bar got any more beer? Hope so. Who bought you two?
While the boys are on a high after their victory, their bodies are under serious stress.
Pink strap mark on the neck. Oh! That's a strap mark. Virgin.
Lobster. I'm a lobster.
I want beer.
It's dehydration again. A whopping 75% of your body is made up of water. Without it, you can't function properly. In the grey UK, you lose about 2 cups of water each day through breathing alone.
I so knew that was coming.
Deserve that.
The lads have been playing hockey in 26-degree heat, and the beer's not helping either. Alcohol makes you pee out more liquid than you take in.
What about the beer?
When the water levels in Marcus's body get too low, his hypothalamus identifies an emergency and responds. First, it sends a signal direct to his mouth, which makes him feel thirsty. Unfortunately, his thirst will wear off long before his body's chemistry has been restored to normal.
One beer. 2 beers.
More beers.
At the same time, the hypothalamus is also telling his kidneys to hang on to the water that's in his body, which means his urine will get more concentrated. The colour of your urine shows how dehydrated you are. The darker the colour, the more your body's struggling to hold on to water. So what state are the boys in? If your pee's the same colour as 1, 2 or 3, your water levels are normal. At 4 or 5, you might feel a bit rough as the cells in your brain get starved of water and start to shrink.
3. Magic number. Mine's a 6. I'm 5.
Lucky 7.
7 and 8 mean your body's getting seriously dehydrated. If you manage to get beyond 8, you could die in as little as 2 hours.
I need some water.
So when you're in the summer sun, drink a bit more water than you feel you need, especially if you're having an active holiday.
How delicious does that look?
Your holiday dinner might look great on the plate, but not everyone's as lucky as Kerry and Joe when it comes to good food.
I want to eat like this all the time. Can we just stay here and never go home?
A shocking 50% of all UK travellers going abroad get diarrhoea. While most holidaymakers here in Turkey are enjoying themselves, Bing and Victor haven't had the same experience.
Are you all right?
Terrible stomach cramps. You've got to have a kebab when you go to Turkey. You know, they're very good, they're very tasty. Literally the first place we stumble across, you know, the lovely kebab that's wafting the smells outside. It was tasty, you know, you'd want a second helping, it was that good. Went to bed and woke up with the most horrendous stomach cramps. It's liquid and it comes out with the most amazing pressure. I thought that I was going to die at one point, you know, it was that bad.
Some people that put up with it have diarrhea for 9 days, but make 10 days holiday, 9 days in diarrhea. Great. But I always said, no, we should get some holiday.
Are you all right?
Do not want to spend my holiday here. I need to go and see a doctor.
Poor food hygiene and hot weather cause bugs like Salmonella and E. coli to grow in food like wildfire. And even in places where the water's safe, a drink with an ice cube could upset your stomach. Our special germ-seeking camera will reveal the journey of hidden bugs.
Hi, do you want to do something?
Yeah, can I have a blue parrot, please?
It's estimated that a shocking 1 out of 5 ice cubes in foreign holiday resorts is contaminated with bacteria from, well, crap. Once those bugs get into you, you're in trouble.
Lovely.
The dodgy kebab means Victor and Bing are off on a holiday excursion they weren't planning.
It's rumbling a lot. There's nothing in there.
Nothing in there?
All emptied last night.
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Over-the-counter diarrhea medicines improve things fast, but they also bung you up, and that hinders your body's attempts to get rid of the bug. However nasty it is, it's better out than in. A doctor will give you the most effective medication.
Okay, here's the prescription. I hope you'll get better soon.
Victor and Bing got antibiotics.
Yeah. Have a nice holiday. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.
I'm going to try and avoid food poisoning altogether on holiday. My top tip is to steer clear of any cooked food that isn't piping hot. You're much less likely to get a bug in freshly cooked food from street stalls than in reheated restaurant food or a lukewarm buffet at a hotel. It's the end of my first day in Mexico, but I'm not feeling too good. Even though I've managed to cross time zones in just a few hours, my brain's clock is still set to London time. I've got jet lag. So while it's midnight in Mexico, it's now 6 in the morning back home and in here. I'd normally be off to the gym at that time of day, not turning in for a night's sleep. So how does your brain keep track of time in the first place? During the day, light falls into my eye and travels down the optic nerve to a tiny group of cells known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is the HQ of my body's clock. It controls when I go to sleep and when I wake up. It works with a pineal gland, which produces melatonin. That's the hormone which makes you feel sleepy. When there's plenty of light around, the pineal gland holds back its production of melatonin, keeping me awake. And as night falls, it releases more melatonin, getting me ready for my nightly snooze. Trouble is, right now, that's just not happening for me. And it's not just your brain you've got to worry about. Scientists believe that different parts of your body also have their own clocks. Your blood is stickiest and clots most easily at around 8 a.m. Your lungs are at their weakest in the morning. Your muscles are strongest at around 5 p.m. Even your immune system and your need to pee are controlled by different biological clocks. Each one adjusts to a new time zone at its own rate. So in other words, there's time-keeping mayhem going on inside me. It's 7 in the morning. I've had about 3 hours sleep all night, and I feel shaky and horrible. I guess I'll just have to spend all day on the beach. Meanwhile, in jet-lag-free Barcelona, the boys are up for a big night out. I see you, baby, shaking that ass. And they might just get lucky. A recent survey showed that 50% of single women have a one-night stand on holiday, and 20% have 5 or more. We all know that alcohol lessens your inhibitions, but what if you factor in a day in the summer sun? We just couldn't resist a field test. For the first part of the test, the lads had to be sober, so we did that at breakfast time. We showed them photographs of 15 female faces. How many would they ask for a bit of summer loving?
She's old enough to be your mum. No, I wouldn't. Nah, it's not mine. It's not my cup of tea.
She's got beautiful eyes.
Blue eyes, no,
Beautiful eyes.
blue eyes.
I've got there's a yes for me on this one.
Yeah,
yeah,
me.
yeah.
No.
No, no.
Consensus.
If that was a style, it does not go with the jumper.
That's a touch and go, that one, isn't it?
Touch and run, mate.
After a day in the blazing heat playing hockey and quite a few beers, the lads are a bit the worse for wear.
I see you, baby. Shaking ass.
So just how much do they want it? We tested them again.
Don't let him have this one.
That's the one.
Yes, yes, yes. You're gagging for it.
Yes.
Next. No.
Yes. Yes.
Can I have that one back, please? Nah, she's a yes now.
That's my favourite.
She's a yes now.
Before he'd been out on the town, Neil only said yes to 2 of the 15 women in the photo test. But after a few drinks, he said yes to 10 of them. And it was much the same for Marcus, Will and Stefan, who all got a lot more enthusiastic about their choices. You might be thinking, so what? Well, bear in mind that nearly 75% of blokes and 50% of women don't use a condom for their holiday sex. And 1 in 10 sexually active people has a sexually transmitted infection.
My head hurts. Going to bed at 6 o'clock is not a good idea.
As it was, our boys just woke up with hangovers. Over in Cancun, Kerry and Joe are halfway through their holiday.
I definitely have the burntest head. Look at my head.
Look at the nose, though, the red bits.
Why is it always that bit? Factor 60 we've had on these, haven't we? And it's still burnt.
It's just a very vulnerable area of the body.
You are so brown. I think it's the brownest I've ever seen you.
Really?
Definitely.
Oh, love you.
Oh, I love you more.
The sun produces ultraviolet or UV radiation, which is potentially harmful to our bodies. Getting a tan is your body's way of trying to protect you from those dangerous rays.
We get a lot of freckles when we go in the sun. They just come out and you get them all over your skin. A lot on our face. Kerry gets them more. It's like a big freckle. Her face is just one freckle.
I'm waiting for the day I get so burnt that they all join up and I just turn that colour permanently forever.
As soon as UV rays hit your skin, your body launches an emergency action to try and protect you. Special cells called melanocytes increase their production of your body's natural pigment, melanin. That darkens your skin, which absorbs some of the harmful UV, protecting your skin from further damage.
Jo will probably go brown than me because she goes different colour.
But Kerry's a nice golden tan. I'm sort of, I don't know.
Mouldy tan.
I've definitely lost the white look, that's for sure.
If you're fair-skinned like Kerry or darker like Jo, you still have the same number of melanin-producing cells. The difference is how much protective melanin those cells pump out. People with dark skins have much more active melanocytes, so their skins are more protected from UV damage. But that doesn't mean they can't burn. Sunburn isn't a heat burn to your skin. At the first sign of UV damage, your immune system leaps into action and pumps out a cocktail of chemicals to start the repair. Blood flow needs to be increased to get those emergency services to where they're needed. That's why your skin becomes inflamed and red. Discomfort aside, there's a very serious reason why you should avoid sunburn. It can double your chances of developing skin cancer.
I had this mole on my arm and I've had it checked before When I came on holiday, it was really itchy, and I'm not 100% convinced, so I'm going to go and have it checked again when I get home.
UV radiation from the sun also triggers the production of dangerous chemicals in your body called free radicals. Their effects start with premature aging and end in cancer. Moles matter because that's where your melanin-producing cells are most concentrated. And because UV damage occurs in melanocytes, it's your moles that are most vulnerable. That damage can mutate the DNA inside a melanocyte and create a rogue cell, which multiplies out of control. And that's what makes a mole turn into a cancer. Last year, 60,000 people in the UK were diagnosed with skin cancer, and cases of malignant melanoma have doubled in the last 10 years. So watch out for any moles that get irritating or change in size or colour, and get them checked. When Kerry and Joe get home, we'll be testing their skin for the hidden effects of all that sun worshipping.
One of the downsides of being in a lovely hot place like this is there are loads of bugs around, and they really seem to love me.
Mosquitoes are attracted to our body heat and smell. Ever wondered how the boffins find that stuff out?
A particularly keen scientist sat in his underwear for several hours in a room filled with mozzies, and he noticed that there was one part of his body that they went wild for.
It was his sweaty feet.
So now I'm going to put his theory to the test.
After that long run earlier, my feet are pretty radioactive. I'm going to give this foot a good soaping, while this one's staying in all its glory overnight. How will they each fare with the Mexican mozzies?
Well, it's the morning after, and I've woken up to 3 really nasty bites here above the sock. One's even bitten through the sock down here. I've got none on the other foot.
So mozzies really do love smelly feet. 3 days after their bug struck, Victor and Bing are back on form. For the girls, it's time to head home.
Here we are, sat ready to go to the airport. It's our last day, feeling a bit miserable, haven't we? Had the most amazing time.
But now it's back to sunny Bournemouth.
Yeah. Bye, Cancun. Love you.
A week after getting back, the girls are off to get their skin checked at Guy's Hospital in London.
I'm Dr. Morris Jones.
Oh, hi, I'm
Nice to
Kerry.
meet you.
Hi, I'm
Dr.
Jay.
Morris Jones.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm one of the dermatologists here, and what I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about your skin, if I may. Kerry, could you just tell me a little bit about how much sun you're exposed to in a normal year?
Oh, a lot. I go out, when I'm back at home, because I live in Spain, I
Right.
usually lie out in the sun about 2 hours every day for like 4 months.
And Joe, just tell me a little bit about your sun exposure.
I just lie out whenever it's hot in the garden or...
And you live in this country?
I live in Bournemouth, yeah.
What I'm going to do now is just have a look at your skin with this UV camera. I'm going to take 2 photographs. The first one with normal natural light and the second one with UV light.
This ultraviolet camera reveals the sun damage that can't be seen with the naked eye.
Look straight ahead. That's lovely. Now we're just going to the UV photograph. Lovely. We just peel this off.
That's attractive.
Peel that off there. So this is your skin in normal light. Joe, so I'm going to show you your before photograph. So we can see a few freckles. What I'd like to do now is show you the photographs that we've taken with the UV light. Peel this back.
Oh my God. Oh no, that's horrible.
That is disgusting.
Oh my God, that is awful.
That is gross.
Is that what's going to happen to me?
That is your skin at the moment.
But is that going to happen? Are they going to come out?
that pigmentation that we can see on the photograph is just below the skin's surface.
Oh, yeah.
And that
so frightening.
That will be revealed with time.
You're joking, I'm going to stop looking like that.
Aren't they cruel?
They're just freckles though, aren't they?
Is this quite bad for Kerry? Is that quite bad?
It is quite bad, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah. Basically, freckles are not very efficient at protecting you. It's the skin's way of trying to protect you, but it's not doing a particularly good job of it. What this means is that you've had sufficient sun exposure in your life to perhaps get some form of skin cancer.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a come down. I don't know if I want to look at mine now.
So this has also revealed quite a lot of pigmentation from UV damage, from sun damage. And I suspect in about 10 years' time, your skin will look 10 or 20 years older than your actual age, just from the sun exposure that you've already had. What you can do is to wear a high-factor sunscreen. That will help to protect you from any further damage. That will also help the damage that's already been done to calm down. We all want to enjoy our leisure time in exotic places, just to protect yourself whilst you're enjoying yourself.
There is some good news, though.
You just place this on the skin directly over the mole.
Kerry's mole is healthy, but how are the girls feeling?
It's shocking.
And it actually makes you feel sick to look at your tan now. You're like, oh my God, what have I done to myself? You feel like you've really...
fried your body.
Fried your body, and it looks good, but it feels sick now.
Meanwhile, the boys are celebrating the end of the hockey tour in traditional lads style.
We've had a fantastic week. We didn't do too badly in the hockey, but now we've got to go back.
We didn't do too good.
Are we going back to work?
too good either, no.
But we're going back to work, and we're pink and proud next year.
The trouble with holidays is that just as you get over the jet lag, it's time to go home again.
Like most of us on the first day back at work, after all the trials and tribulations of travelling, I feel like I need another holiday.
And we might go to Iceland.
Yeah, we were thinking, but then the reflection of the sun off the ice is not good, so we're a bit scared.
We might just,
stay here.